After barely making the playoffs last season, the Pistons were supposed to improve and contend in the Eastern Conference. This was Dwayne Casey's second year with the team, and you had 2 All-Star level players, if not 3, including DRose. And you also had some young talent on the team that you were expecting to grow. So at the very least, a slight improvement from a 41-41 record was not out of the question. But was there a more disappointing team in the entire NBA than the Detroit Pistons? The season got off to a bad start when their best player Blake Griffin had to miss the first 11 games of the season with knee soreness. The same knee that made him miss 4 of the last 7 regular season games and the first 2 games of the playoffs against the Bucks the previous year. The same knee that forced him to miss the rest of the season this year as he played only 18 games. His knee surgery earlier this year was his second one in less than 9 months. Effort has never been an issue with Blake Griffin. It's always been about his health. In the 18 games he played this season, he struggled to resemble the player that the fans are used to seeing. He obviously doesn't have the same explosion that he once had in his first 4 or 5 years in the league. But he seemed to have trouble getting any lift on his jump shot. He shot a career worst 35% from the field and 24% from three-point land. He also struggled to defend, and he averaged career lows in points per game and rebounds per game. John Wall does not have the worst contract in the league. Blake Griffin does. Even though John Wall has more years on his contract, there is still optimism about him still being an all-star level player. You can't really expect Blake to play anywhere close to what we're used to seeing. He still has 2 years remaining on his contract, $37 million next season and $39 million after that. They also had other injuries with Reggie Jackson and Luke Kennard. They stumbled out the gate with a 4-10 record, and they were not able to recover. The Pistons did not win more than 2 games in a row, and that only happened 3 times. Andre Drummond had another all-star level season, but his impact on winning was minimal. That's probably why he got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, for basically cap space, which is not the worst move when you think about it. By trading him, the Pistons are off the hook for that possible salary for next season, and they can move forward more quickly on the rebuild. It'll give more playing time to younger big men on the team. The Pistons finished with a 20-46 record, which is a winning percentage around 30%. That is well below what I predicted in my season preview of the Detroit Pistons. Even though I had them as an 8 seed just like they were the previous season, I believe they were still going to improve to a certain extent. Some fans thought they would improve even more. Everybody was wrong about the Pistons, but with all the disappointments, there are always bright spots. The former league MVP was one of them. DRose provided a consistent scoring punch, mostly coming off the bench. He averaged 18 points a game, which led the team, and he scored 20 points or more in a career-high 14 straight games. He also had his highest assist average since the 2011-12 season. Luke Kennard was also a bright spot, but that only lasted for 28 games, as he also suffered from knee soreness. He made a big jump in his level of play as he went from 9.7 points per game to 15.8. He also averaged career highs in rebounds and assists. Kennard was also another player that was rumored in a lot of trade talks this season, and with him being a restricted free agent after next season, the Pistons could try to move him this offseason. Their first-round pick last year, Sekou Doumbouya, took an encouraging step forward in his rookie season. There was a 2-week stretch at the beginning of January where he looked like he was starting his bid for Rookie of the Year. During that stretch, he averaged 14 points and 5 rebounds while shooting 54% from the field and 41% from 3, showing you a glimpse of what he can do. Along with DRose, he led the Pistons to a victory over the Celtics in Boston as he dropped 24 points. He also added this highlight to his rookie season.
Snell takes the inbounds pass. Doumbouya gets run off the line, down the lane, my goodness, and a block is called on Thompson as he was in the restricted area.
The closeout was not good, and that left Double T naked inside. And that's where, see, the closeout was not even a closeout.
I believe the brightest spot this season for the Detroit Pistons was big man Christian Wood, the guy that went undrafted in 2015, a player I projected to be a lottery pick that year. His play this season was the potential I thought he had back in 2015. He was claimed off waivers and earned the final roster spot in the training camp battle with Joe Johnson. He was a legit threat from the inside and the outside. He shot 39% from three-point land. For the season, he averaged 13 points and 6 rebounds per game in a career-high 62 games played. In the 13 games after Drummond was traded, Wood averaged 23 and 10. His play made it easier to come to the decision to trade Drummond. They now have the cap space to try and re-sign Christian Wood, who will be a free agent after this season. Even with Blake Griffin and his bad contract, the Pistons go into the offseason with a high draft pick, expiring contracts, and potentially more than $30 million in cap space. They have the necessary tools to transform this roster as they continue to rebuild. It's likely that the Pistons will have a top 6 pick. LaMelo Ball should be the guy if the Pistons get the number 1 pick, as he will thrive the most because of his skill set, and he'll get plenty of playing time at the point guard position because Dwayne Casey wants DRose coming off the bench. The Pistons will also be in search for a new GM and an assistant GM this offseason. Names like Chauncey Billups and Tayshaun Prince have come up in rumors. The Pistons are slowly moving forward with a rebuild. That's something nobody could have envisioned at the beginning of the season. After moving on from Drummond and Reggie Jackson in February, Griffin's 2 years and $76 million left on his contract is the only big contract on the books for the Pistons. I could even see a situation where after next season, the Pistons could entertain buying out the last year of his contract and clear the deck for the future of the franchise. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do it right now for future NBA content.